Hi, welcome back to Trilicus. I'm your host Wayne, and these are my thoughts and opinions, spoiler free of course, on Spider-Man Homecoming. So Spider-Man Homecoming is the latest film in the MCU, and it's set after the big battle against Thanos in Endgame. So Spider-Man's returned, Peter Parker, after being wiped out by the snap, and they explain why he needs to go back to school by referencing the snap as a blip. Anybody that was taken out by Thanos with the blip has to go back and resume their life as they were when it happened. So this causes a few comedic scenes between siblings, where you've got older siblings that are now younger siblings being taunted about the fact that they have to go to school when perhaps their younger brother or sister doesn't and can go to work and get a job. Spider-Man, Peter Parker, then goes on to school vacation, and this is all being set up by a character called Mysterio. Mysterio is fighting creatures called elementals, and he's enlisted the help of Nick Fury and Spider-Man to defeat them. This isn't what it seems, and Mysterio isn't the character that Peter Parker believes that he is. The process and the deception did take a little while for it to come to fruition, and for me the film did drag a little bit. That said, it is still a good film, but I do think that the MCU should possibly give it a rest for a few years, because we've seen everything before. We've seen all these characters go through similar things, and it does feel like they're rehashing some of their old material, but as long as it's making money, I suppose Disney and the MCU won't really care about that. So initially Spider-Man joins forces with Mysterio to defeat the Elementals, and the whole thing goes quite well. They defeat a really big one in Prague, and Mysterio is quite happy, and the deception continues. Peter Parker does find out that he's been deceived, and then tries to confront Mysterio himself, and this conflict happens in London. The fight scenes in Spider-Man Homecoming are very well choreographed, and the action scenes are pretty good. Special effects are okay. Some of them do twist the mind a little bit, and during some of the fight scenes you don't realise, or Spider-Man doesn't realise, that these are hallucinations. It does get a little bit trippy. Tom Holland does appear to have nailed the part of Spider-Man, the awkward teenager and those thoughts that a young man goes through at that particular age. He kind of shows them and displays them really well with his acting. So I think they've got the right character, the right person playing the right character. There's no sign of Brie Larson or Captain Marvel in this, and I think that's a good sign. Essentially, it looks like it's going to be left with Spider-Man to take up the mantle from Tony Stark and build a new Avengers team. This I think can only be a good thing, as I do feel that had Brie Larson and Captain Marvel been involved, there would be so much SJW stuff and wokeness going on that it would ruin the franchise and we'd lose interest. I am looking forward to seeing how Spider-Man can put together a team, because he's not really a character that has played or been a leader of a team. Essentially, he is a loner and combats crime in his local neighbourhood. He does reference that quite a few times when trying to be convinced to take up the mantle of Tony Stark and forming a new team. He does go back to referencing his own past and wants to be the friendly neighbourhood Spider-Man. There's a couple of good twists in this film, but I won't tell you exactly what they are, but one or two of them do appear in the end credits. There's 2 end credits in Spider-Man Homecoming, so do stick around for both of them, as they do offer another fresh insight into what's coming in the next MCU films. Overall, I'd recommend any Marvel fan go and see this film. It is generally pretty good. There is 20 minutes or so that I do think were drawn out a little bit, but apart from that, if you've enjoyed the previous films, you'll definitely enjoy this one. I don't think it's the greatest that Marvel have done, but I do think it's worth a shot. Please don't forget to subscribe, like and hit the notification buzzer, because it does help the channel, and I will see you next time. Thank you very much.